Pirarucu leather is an exotic leather made from the skin of the Pirarucu fish, also known as the Arapaima gigas. This is native to the Amazon and Essequibo River basins in South America. As one of the world's largest freshwater fish, measuring in around 10 feet long, its leather is valued for its unique diamond-shaped scales and durability. It's often seen in the fashion industry used for luxury goods, such as handbags, shoes, and accessories. Looking briefly at its history, Pirarucu leather may have been used thousands of years ago by the natives in the Amazon region. The fish was a source of food for communities, and the hides were processed into a unique and durable material for clothes, footwear, bags, and tools. Over time, Pirarucu leather gained popularity among designers and manufacturers in the fashion industry. So this really increased the demand for Pirarucu leather as a luxury material for high-end fashion goods. When looking at the tanning and production process, this can vary as well. This type of leather can be tanned, very locally, by one person maybe who caught it, or on a larger scale with a more mechanized production process. So looking at, a general fish leather approach, it's usually tanned and then drum dyed and often dried sometimes when, put onto a board, and then keeps it from kind of shriveling as it dries in the sun or somewhere else outdoors. When you're looking at a larger scale facility, you're going to have more mechanized, options for that, and probably drying rooms, and fans and things like that. When it's finished, like most leathers, you can apply any type of a coating that you want to it. It could be something like a gloss coating, a matte coating, a protectant to protect, that leather surface. It could be something that helps make it a little more water resistant. Obviously, there's some inherently, given that it is a fish-based material, although you could always add some more, or even things for visual characteristics like colorants, pigments, and anything that can kind of help increase the visibility or the kind of aesthetic or the durability of those hides. Looking at cost for a Pirarucu leather, it's usually around $300 to $425 for a full hide. Sometimes you can get half hides or even smaller scrap pieces, but in general, that's the price range you may look at. And variables there are going to be the quality of the hide, the quality of the tanning process and the tannery itself, and then any kind of finishing layers that were put on top of it that may increase production time and end cost. Some pros for Pirarucu leather are that it is relatively unique in its look. So if you're looking for something that's going to have kind of a pop to it and really stand out versus other, more common leathers, this could be a great one. It's also very flexible and lightweight. So if you're looking for, a day-to-day item that will flex a lot, such as like a handbag or something like that, this could be an excellent choice for you. And also, it has some natural water resistance to it, which is great. You could certainly add more protectants to it, but it's always nice to have a leather that has some natural water-resistant characteristics. Looking at the cons, Pirarucu leather can definitely be more expensive than other types. Given that it's exotic and not always readily available, the costs usually are going to be a little higher. And when it comes to cleaning and maintenance, there can be some additional steps. Given the kind of nature of this hide surface, as well as wanting to maintain the proper moisture in it, there are going to be some special cleaning and maintenance steps to it. Nothing that's like super different than most leathers, but you're just going to have to, like most exotics, make sure you take into account the exact surface texture and characteristics of this type of a hide. Let's look at a few good uses. We've got handbags, purses, wallets and card holders, belts, watch straps, and footwear are great. This is another example of where the size of the hide will essentially dictate the size of the finished items you can make. Since it is a relatively long fish, you're not going to have this really wide hide, and hence that's why it's going to be used mostly, for smaller items like we talked about, primarily, like accessories and belts and watch straps, things like that. And a few tips for working with Pirarucu leather. 1, get some samples first and make sure you get comfortable with how this material responds to your tools, because it'll be a little bit different than your typical vegetable tan leather. And then 2, make sure when you are laying out your design for it, that the pattern on the surface is going to align however you properly want it to with your finished good. Each is going to be a little different, but just take into account the actual, surface, type and pattern, and that way when your good is done, it'll look exactly how you want it to. So there you have it, a look into the Pirarucu leather, one that is relatively popular in the exotic world, even though it may not be hugely, volume related to most common leathers like bovine and cow and things like that. So definitely, if you want to kind of get some experience with an exotic leather, this could be a great one to try. It's durable, it's flexible, and it will definitely give you an opportunity to make some really nice items.